The story of Mason Greenwood is one that immediately pulls attention because it sits at the intersection of extraordinary talent, rapid success, sudden disruption, and intense public scrutiny. It is a story about how promise can rise faster than expected, how a career can change direction overnight, and how every action on and off the field can reshape a public image in the modern era. This documentary explores the full journey of Mason Greenwood, from early beginnings to professional breakthroughs, from controversy to reinvention, and finally to why his name is once again dominating conversations around the world. This documentary will trace the complete path of Mason Greenwood. It will look closely at his early life and background, the foundations that shaped his skills and the systems that identified his potential at a very young age. It will explain how his career began, how recognition came quickly, and how he reached a level that many players never achieve. It will also examine the struggles and controversies that altered his trajectory, before focusing in detail on why Mason Greenwood is trending right now, what sparked renewed attention, and why this moment matters so much in the larger context of his career. Finally, it will analyze public reaction, assess his current status, and consider what the future may hold. Mason Greenwood was born into an environment where football was not just a pastime but a serious pursuit. From an early age, his ability to control the ball, read the game, and finish chances stood out. While many young players show flashes of promise, his development was unusually consistent. Coaches and observers noticed that his coordination, balance, and composure were advanced for his age. This was not just raw talent, but a combination of natural ability and disciplined repetition. His education ran parallel with his football development, but even during school years, it was clear where his priorities lay. Training sessions, matches, and performance analysis took on increasing importance. Unlike many young athletes who rely on physical dominance, Mason Greenwood displayed technical intelligence. He could use both feet with unusual confidence, making him unpredictable and difficult to defend against. This skill would later become one of the defining features of his professional identity. The beginning of his career followed a structured pathway through elite youth systems. He progressed through age groups quickly, often competing against older players and still managing to stand out. Coaches trusted him in high-pressure situations, and he repaid that trust with goals and consistent performances. As he moved closer to senior-level football, expectations grew, but so did his confidence. His breakthrough into top-level competition came earlier than many expected. When opportunities arrived, he showed little hesitation. His movement, finishing, and calm decision-making suggested a player far beyond his years. Recognition followed rapidly. Media outlets highlighted his potential, analysts praised his efficiency, and fans began to see him as a symbol of the next generation of forwards. As his visibility increased, so did the weight of expectation. Major achievements came in the form of crucial goals, strong statistical output, and recognition as one of the most promising young forwards of his era. He contributed not just through scoring, but through intelligent positioning and link-up play. At a time when many players struggled to adapt to the speed and physicality of top-level football, Mason Greenwood appeared comfortable. However, with fame comes scrutiny, and his career soon entered a far more complicated phase. Off-field issues and controversies emerged that dramatically changed public perception and interrupted his progress. These events were widely reported and debated, creating a sharp divide in opinion. For a player once discussed purely in terms of talent and future potential, the narrative shifted toward accountability, responsibility, and consequences. This period marked a turning point. Playing time stopped, public statements replaced match reports, and silence on the pitch contrasted with constant discussion online and in the media. For a long time, Mason Greenwood was no longer trending because of goals or performances, but because of uncertainty. His future became a question mark, and his career path, once clear and upward, became fragmented. The trending moment that brings Mason Greenwood back into global conversation right now is rooted in his return to competitive football and the visible attempt to rebuild his professional identity. This trend did not happen suddenly. It developed in stages, beginning with behind-the-scenes decisions about where and how he could resume playing. When confirmation emerged that he would return to regular match action, attention immediately intensified. The exact reason Mason Greenwood is trending right now is his on-field performance following his return. After a prolonged absence from top-level competition, many questioned whether he could regain sharpness, confidence, and consistency. Early matches became a test not just of skill, but of mental resilience. Each appearance was analyzed closely, with clips shared widely across social media and sports platforms. The trend accelerated when he began contributing directly to results. Goals, assists, and decisive moments created a new narrative layer. People were no longer just discussing whether he should be playing, but how he was playing. The contrast between past controversy and present performance became the central point of debate. Supporters highlighted his footballing ability, while critics focused on the broader implications of his return. This tension fueled discussion, making his name unavoidable in sports media cycles. Timing played a crucial role in why this trend gained momentum now and not earlier. The modern football environment thrives on visual proof. A comeback only becomes real when performances can be measured and shared. As soon as Mason Greenwood delivered tangible results, the conversation shifted from speculation to evidence. Media outlets began publishing performance breakdowns, fan reactions multiplied, and highlight clips reached audiences far beyond traditional sports viewers. This trend matters in the larger context of his career because it represents a second defining phase. The first phase was about potential and early success. The second phase is about survival, adaptation, and reputation management. How he performs now will shape not only his professional future, but how his entire career is remembered. In football, redemption narratives are powerful, but they are also fragile. Consistency, behavior, and contribution will determine whether this moment becomes a long-term revival or a temporary spike in attention. Public and media reactions remain deeply divided. Some focus strictly on football, evaluating Mason Greenwood based on movement, finishing, and tactical role. Others argue that context cannot be separated from performance. This split ensures continued discussion, as every match becomes both a sporting event and a social talking point. At present, Mason Greenwood occupies a unique position. He is active, productive, and once again relevant on the pitch, yet constantly analyzed off it. His future possibilities depend on sustained performance, discipline, and how institutions and fans respond over time. A return to higher levels of competition remains possible, but nothing is guaranteed. In the long term, his legacy will likely be defined by contrast. Early brilliance, dramatic interruption, and a contested comeback form a narrative arc that few players experience so publicly. Whether he becomes an example of wasted potential, successful reinvention, or something in between will depend on choices made from this point forward. The story of Mason Greenwood is not finished. It is still being written with every match, every decision, and every reaction. If you want to keep following deep, balanced documentaries that break down the full story behind the headlines, make sure to subscribe because the next chapter is always closer than it seems.